get paper, but I've only got this. Is there anything about Saddam in here? Saddam's birthday. Today is Saddam's birthday, no?
Yeah.
Is there any information about him, where he's gone?
No.
Because some people said today he's going to return.
No. It's just a rumor.
Do you think he's alive?
Yeah, possible. He's alive.
Because you know, if you find him, you can get $200,000 from the Americans.
I don't want any reward from Americans. I just want he to be dead.
Oh.
Yeah.
Today is Monday, the 28th of April, which is traditionally Saddam Hussein's birthday.
Yes.
And we're here in the spot where the statue was pulled down. Among here, as you can see, many Iraqis have come here today. And there, you can see above where the statue had been before it was torn down. Baghdad is burning again.
Yes. Ministry of Information.
Ministry of Information?
Yes.
Half this place has been burnt to the ground, looted, destroyed. Most of the government has disappeared. They've only caught a few of them so far. And of course the big catch is Saddam. I had arrived in Baghdad a few days after the city fell to the Americans. Plenty of chaos and looting, but little information about Saddam. The cost of the war was a staggering £45 billion, equivalent to the combined GDP of 33 African countries. We were told it was a price worth paying to rid the world of a cruel dictator and his weapons of mass destruction. But so far, no weapons and no sign of Saddam. So was it just daylight robbery?
Head, رأس بس.
You've got Saddam's head?
Yes.
You've got Saddam's head?
بس ترجم منك تعلم لوالدك.
Where is it? Where's the head?
Car.
In your car? You've got Saddam's head in your car? There were plenty of false leads. But the American soldiers, as they charged around Baghdad, did not appear to have any leads. Why aren't you guys hunting him down?
I don't know. It's not our choice. CIA, maybe. Maybe they're doing it. I don't know.
Everybody that comes up to us and wants us to find Saddam and get Saddam, you know, and I can completely understand why they want to do it. But on the same token, it's just try to explain to them, and it doesn't. In their lives, it doesn't matter anymore. But they have fears about him coming back because he's done it so many times in the past.
Yeah, what's the news? Any news about Saddam?
Today?
Yeah, what's the latest?
Nothing new. Yeah.
I found a translator, Amir, who was as keen as I was to find Saddam. He was alarmed that there was so little progress. We wanted to know why.
That's right. You know, the first week after the regime collapsed, Colin Powell said, it doesn't matter for us. Saddam is died or alive. There is a new history now of Iraq.
Do you think he was trying to make an excuse not to find him?
Yeah.
In the run-up to the war, the Americans had compared Saddam to Stalin and Hitler. Could it be that finding him no longer really mattered to them? We went to a press conference held by the two most senior generals in Iraq, hoping to find out more. There certainly appeared to be no sense of urgency, and no one was asking about the search for Saddam. Suddenly, a power cut. Apparently yet another blackout across the city. Or were the Americans just trying to keep us in the dark? Many parties here, organisations, are saying they have concrete information about the whereabouts of Saddam Hussein and his immediate family. We hear a lot of stuff about Delta Force going out on raids looking for them. Can you tell me what's happening with that, with the search for Saddam Hussein?
No, can't comment on that.
Why were the Americans so reluctant to discuss the issue? Having proclaimed the war was won, wasn't getting Saddam their main priority now? I went to the Republican Palace, one of Saddam's biggest and now the headquarters of the interim American administration. I wanted answers, so I joined other journalists waiting in line outside. Finally, I got to talk with Major Chris Hughes. In spite of evidence all around of Saddam's grotesque megalomania, he seemed to be seriously downplaying the importance of finding the much-reviled dictator.
The intent of this organization operating from here is to return Iraq to normal, to allow this nation to rejoin the world community and resume its rightful place.
Isn't it going to be hard for the Iraqi people unless they can put the nightmare of Saddam behind them and say, look, okay, they finally got him, the Americans have finally got him, put him behind bars?
It would be nice to have Saddam Hussein account for his crimes.
To my surprise, Chris Hughes did not see the capture of Saddam as central to American plans.
That's really not the issue. I think very soon the people of Iraq will move beyond it.
The Americans were suspiciously evasive. It was time to investigate for ourselves. We began in Baghdad's Al Mansour neighborhood, at the site of a restaurant bombed by the Americans during the war. Supposedly, Saddam had been here around the time, but a relative of some of the 14 people killed in the bombing was dismissive. He believed Saddam was alive and kicking.
قلت تعرف الامريكان قالوا احنا حاصلين الدي ان اي، تعرف حافظ الدي ان اي مال صدام؟ ف
ما حدش
ولا واحد
ولا امريكي جاي من ضرب الحدث.
Nobody from the day of bombing till now, nobody came.
No Americans came to investigate?
Never.
What does he understand from that? That they knew that Saddam wasn't here? Or they didn't hit him?
طبعا يعرفون بس ما يعرفون مكان غلط فما جوه.
يعني معناها هم يعرفون صدام عايش رغم ادعائهم انه صدام مات.
لا هو هذا ضربه يوم 7 بالشهر. صدام حسين طلع بالاعظميه يوم 9 بالشهر.
We moved on to Adamir. The scars of battle were still fresh. This was apparently the last place Saddam was seen in public as the city fell.
Fighting. And they know there's a man there who even talked personally with Saddam.
تسعة بالشهر نعم يوم 9 بالشهر انا واقف هناك واقف جنب سمير الصاير باوعت العالم من تم وصارت طلقات وما شنو جو عالم مهتومين قالوا الامريكان جيتوا وما شنو باوعنا الرئيس رافع ايده من نهار رحنا.
Saddam was there?
نعم.
What was he doing?
شلون يسوي عاد السد؟
هو بعد شنو واقف
هو يسلم على الشعب
واقف يسلم على الشعب.
Standing to say hello to his people.
Just saying hello.
قال فد يومين صبرونا ان شاء الله يصير خير.
هو صار أسامة بن لادن طب بأحد الجبال وما طلع بعد هو مو أسامة بن لادن.
He said he's not Osama bin Laden. Enter the mountain and then nobody can see him.
هو رجل قتل في مكان ما معين.
He disappeared in
يعني والعالم تجذب فيه.
Where do you think he is? Where do you think he is?
تحت جراوند جوا الأرض أنفاق عنده جوا.
What do you mean? Down?
جوا الأرض عنده مجموعة أنفاق.
He's gone underground?
جوا أنفاق عنده عدة أنفاق.
Oh, he's in the tunnels?
عدة أنفاق.
Down below?
جوا هي تطلع جوا
وهو الآخر لحظة هناك كان يقاتل ويانا وإحنا نقاتل الدبابات الأمريكية. هو واقف.
He's a hero. The last hour he was fighting here with us.
So he saw him. He saw Saddam.
Yes.
أنا وياه.
Did he talk with him?
حكيت يا سلم علينا
What
واحدة.
did you say to him?
ايش قلت له؟ ايش قال لك؟
ما سلمنا عليه وقال مع الأسف على دقوا دورهم خانوني.
سألته جاوبكم على
ما سألنا بس حيل.
لكن شو ليش حكى الحكاية؟
قال إن شاء الله
And he had
الصبر.
his gun? He was holding his gun?
Yes.
قال صبر العراقيين إن شاء الله الصبر.
So what was he shooting with? A handgun?
كان عنده رشاش ولا مسدس؟
Automatic weapon?
قاذفة.
No, RPG.
He had an RPG. Saddam had an RPG.
Yes.
And he was firing it at the Americans.
Yeah.
You saw this?
دبابتين عطب هنا.
هو. He can damage 2 tanks.
He damaged 2 tanks?
Yeah.
How many rockets did he fire? How many did he
كم
fire?
صاروخ رمى؟
صاروخين.
2
rockets. Wow. And he saw this with his own eyes?
أنت شفته بعينك؟
أنا شفته بعيني ساعة بس أنت شنو أنا.
In the shadow of a half-built mosque, intended by Saddam to be the biggest in the world, is the Iraqi hunting club. The place is bristling with guns, many of them owned by members of the Iraqi National Congress, who have sworn to track down leaders of Saddam's regime in cooperation with the Pentagon. They are keen to replace this trophy head of Saddam Hussein, now lying in the club's garden, with the real thing, but are not entirely confident of American support.
How far behind him are you?
I think very close.
Really?
Yes. Unbelievable, very close.
Like on specific days or the whole time?
Maybe before 15 days.
You were very close to catching him?
Yes.
Really? You knew where he was?
Yeah, I think, almost. But because he always changing the places. So we lost him for 2 days. The third days we know where he is.
And why didn't the Americans act on your information?
According to Mr. Dulaimi, Saddam had been in Dora, a suburb in the south of Baghdad, 15 days earlier. We went straight there to check for ourselves.
Yeah, we heard. He was in Shurta.
He was in Shurta?
Police quarter of Dora, inside Dora.
As we were talking, an unmarked American Special Forces car, guns at the ready, cruised by.
Where do they think he's gone now?
زي شو اعتقادكم وين راح هسه؟ الله أعلم. God knows.
God knows.
Saddam, it seemed, was constantly on the move, and so were we. It was time to speak to someone with intimate knowledge of the former dictator to get further clues as to his whereabouts. We went to consult Saddam's former doctor, Ibrahim al-Basri, and one of his friends.
He's moving around?
Like a rat.
Like a rat?
Yes. He is like a rat.
He's like a rat.
We have saw him before 2 or 3 days before the for end of the war, of this last war. And after that, he keep like a rat. Nobody know what he done. He lit Iraq, he lit everything, and keep like the rat.
Some people say he's like hiding in tunnels. Like a rat, he's running through the tunnels.
No more tunnels.
No more tunnels.
No more tunnels. But we have something I know. Probably you know it. We call it mercury. You know what's mercury?
Mercury?
Yeah.
Like in a thermometer?
Yeah. If you hold something, a bit of mercury in your hand, it will slop from one hand to the other, just like that. He's just like a mercury. You see him one day in Adamiyah, the other day you see him in the south of Baghdad, in 5 minutes you see him in the north of Baghdad, in 10 minutes he goes somewhere, God knows where.
Al-Basri was jailed by Saddam for 13 years, and he is trying to exorcise the trauma of imprisonment through painting. He wants revenge, so he too is searching for Saddam, in spite of the dangers.
Saddam gave this to you?
Yes. It's from him, everything from him.
Wow. It looks like something out of James Bond.
That is also from him.
It looks like a James Bond gun. So you will use this, if Saddam comes looking for you, you will use this?
We hope that.
Or if you go looking for Saddam?
We have more gun than this.
More than this?
Getting information on Saddam, he admits, is not easy, as fear of the former dictator lingers on.
Nobody talk about Saddam in TV or so.
Really?
All are afraid about it. Really, they are afraid because they said he is now everywhere. And he have people, he can send people and they do. And the boys of Saddam, they are working. They are in Baghdad. They bomb, they do everything.
So you think we could be under threat just by looking for him?
Yes. It's also dangerous for you.
The doctor said there were strong indications that Saddam had headed north towards Tikrit, his home area, which benefited under